iOS 17 has just launched and it has a bunch of new features and updates, but it can be quite hard to figure out what's actually worth talking about, what's actually worth checking out, and that's what I wanted to share in this video. Here are all the devices that currently support the new iOS 17. If yours does, I would highly recommend upgrading. By the way, if you're interested in this wallpaper, make sure to check out. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. It goes a long way in supporting this channel. So first up is creating customized contact posters. So now when you message someone, call someone, or share your contact information, you can either have your own photo, your own name, font, emoji, font color. You can basically just customize it to make it more personal. It's a pretty neat feature, and I think where it works best is when you're calling someone, having them see your name, photo, emoji, whatever it might be. I think it looks pretty smart. You can now share contact information by bringing two iPhones together, or you can do an iPhone and an Apple Watch. Just a quick way to exchange contact information, email, phone number, whatever it might be. You can also initiate SharePlay or content transfer by bringing two iPhones together. So this is a great way to maybe share a movie or a music playlist with a friend, or of course, just share pictures, videos, whatever it might be, like you would with AirDrop. When you call someone via FaceTime and they don't pick up, you can now leave a video message, just basically like a video voicemail pretty much. And yeah, if they're not picking up, you can quickly just leave them a video so that they can come back to it later on. The Messages app interface has now been cleaned up. Now when you press the plus button, you get a scrollable list of the apps that work with messages. Audio messages are now also transcribed, which for me is an absolute dream of a feature, because sometimes when I have friends who send me voice messages, I don't really have time to listen to the voice message. Maybe I'm in a meeting or maybe doing something else. Just being able to read the voice message that they send me, it makes my life so much easier. Autocorrect has also been improved, and I've noticed this firsthand when I'm sending messages. Autocorrect makes a big difference now. And if you're someone who likes to curse, ducking, duck this, duck that, whatever it might be, it can now go back to the actual word that you want without it going back to duck or ducking. Another cool feature with the Messages app is that you can now hold down the plus icon to instantly bring up your recent photos, so you can quickly share a photo in Messages. There's also now the check-in feature. So maybe you want to check in with a friend, maybe let them know that you've arrived safely at your location. You can do that through Messages. You can just simply send them a check-in notification. And if you get in trouble, maybe you don't get there in time, you can also show the recipient that you haven't arrived at your location within the time that you should have. Maybe you got caught in traffic or something, you can automatically obviously update it, but if you can't, it will notify the person who you're sharing your location with and make sure that they can check up on you. There's also the new standby mode, which personally for me, I think is one of my favorite features of iOS 17. So when you have your phone on a charger and you have it in landscape, it will automatically switch to standby mode. And in standby mode, you can sort of customize it to whatever you like. You can have a clock, you can have the weather, you can have your calendar. There are just a bunch of customizable widgets, and they're enlarged so that you can see them from further away. So this is perfect on a bedside table, on a desk, or just some other place where you regularly rest your phone landscape. Absolutely awesome, because for me, I have my phone usually charging on my desk or on my nightstand at home, and being able to have it landscape to quickly see the time, notifications, keep up with the calendar, whatever it might be, very useful. Home screen widgets are now interactive, so maybe you have a widget for lights or maybe for your music. Instead of going into the app to pause the music or change the lights or whatever it might be, you can do that directly from the home screen. Spotlight has improved, so you can change settings in Spotlight without actually having to open the app. You can also open albums directly from search. Typing a date or a day will have a Spotlight offer to create a calendar event. There's mood tracking and mental health assessment now in the Health app, where you can log daily emotions, track your state of mind over time. And later in the year, they're also bringing a journal app, so you can journal what you've done throughout your day. The Health app can now also measure screen distance, so it can help you determine if you're too close to your screen using the True Depth camera. In Safari, you can now lock private browsing with Face ID. So maybe there's some tabs, maybe there's some websites that you're browsing that you don't want other people to see. You can lock them with Face ID. And you can also separate work and personal browsing with different histories, different extensions, tab groups, and things like that by using iOS's profiles functionality. There's big improvements to visual lookup as well. So now it can provide recipes for identified food, excellent for recreating restaurant dishes at home. It can recognize common symbols and glyphs, And you can also take photos of tags on clothing to show laundry care instructions. This is incredibly useful because maybe you have a symbol that comes up on your dashboard, maybe you have a symbol on your clothing tag on your clothes that you just don't understand. Being able to look all this stuff up very quickly makes life so much easier. You can now share passwords and passkeys with family members through iCloud Keychain. Everyone in the group can add and edit shared passwords. This is great for maybe sharing streaming service passwords with family members or just managing shared accounts. Maps now offers the ability to download offline maps. So maybe for places where you know you don't have great signal, you can download a portion of the map for that area. So I can download a map for the whole of London if I want to, so that I don't have to rely on having internet to get around London. You can share AirTags in the Find My app. This is actually really useful because maybe you're traveling with a friend, maybe you're traveling with family, and you have AirTags in your luggage, in your suitcase, in your bags, whatever it might be. Being able to share those tags with other family members, very useful because now everyone can see where your things are. I feel like this can also be useful around the home. So maybe you have an AirTag on your car keys and you share the car with family members or friends, giving everyone the ability to track the AirTag for your keys so you can find them anywhere. Incredibly useful. Adaptive audio and conversation awareness in AirPods. So now with the AirPods Pro 2, it can automatically detect when someone is talking to you and turn down the volume and adjust the sound to your preferences. It makes it easier to quickly talk to someone when you have your AirPods in, though I do think you should probably take your AirPods out when you're having a conversation with someone, because I actually think it's rude when someone has their AirPods in and you're having a full-on conversation with them. If you've ever used two-factor authentication, you know how useful it is when you get a code in your Messages app and it will automatically fill that code into whatever app you're using. You can also now do that with email. So no having to switch apps anymore. To your email app, get the code, copy and paste or whatever it might be. It does it all automatically for you. Live voicemail transcription on the lock screen. What's funny about this feature is that it's actually been around for a long time. It was around well before smartphones were. But now they sort of just brought it back to smartphones. They've brought it back to the iPhone. And it is actually really useful because what happens is it displays a live transcript of a voicemail message on your lock screen, and it allows you to decide whether you want to accept the call or call back later without actually having to listen to the voicemail. This can also be useful for maybe when you're in a meeting and you get a call from a family member and you can't figure out if it's urgent or not. You'll be able to see if it's urgent or not by seeing the voicemail they leave without actually having to answer the phone. And yeah, if it's urgent, you can go, you can leave the meeting, answer the call straight away, get to whatever you need to. FaceTime can now work with Apple TV, so you can use your iPhone as the FaceTime camera. The camera app now has a level tool, and this is something which I'm really shocked wasn't included before, but actually makes so much sense, especially for someone like me, where I love taking pictures, and having things level is literally what I do. Like, that's my style of photography, making sure things are level, making sure things are straight. Yeah, I'm really glad they've now included the leveler in the camera app. So that's it. Those are a few of my favorite iOS 17 features. There are a bunch of other features as well. If you have any that I've missed that you think are worth mentioning, please leave them in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.